Hello everyone, I am Kiran Joshi. Hope you all are safe and sound. This is the third video of Class 8 History, chapter The Making of the National Movement 1870s to 1947. In the first video, we learnt about the Indian National Congress, its earlier activities, Bengal partition, Swadeshi movement, foundation of All India Muslim League, and in the second video, we learnt about the impact of First World War on Indian economy, the event of Mahatma Gandhi, the Rowlatt Satyagraha, the Khilafat agitation, the non-cooperation movement, and Gandhiji's image as that of a Masiha. Children, the non-cooperation movement had a powerful impact on the country. As I mentioned in the second video of the chapter, that people sometimes interpreted Gandhiji's call for non-cooperation movement in such a way that were not in accordance with the ideas. Such an incident occurred at Chauri Chaura, a village in present-day Uttar Pradesh, when on 5th February 1922, a procession of about 3,000 peasants was fired upon by the police. The angry peasants retaliated by attacking and burning down the police station. 22 policemen died. Mahatma Gandhi took this incident very seriously. He realized that the people had not learnt the practice of non-violence properly, and therefore he called off the campaign of non-cooperation at once. After the withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement, many Congress workers and Gandhiji's followers emphasized to devote time and energy in constructive work in the rural areas. This constructive work included spinning khadi, Hindu-Muslim unity, removal of untouchability, setting up nationalist schools, and improving the condition of the poor. Other Congress leaders such as Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru favored contesting elections and entering the legislative councils. They believed that they could influence the government policies and obstruct the working of the British government only when they are in the legislature. Gandhiji's followers did sincere social work in villages in the mid-1920s. Thus, they were successful in extending their support base of common mass. This support proved to be very useful in initiating the civil disobedience movement in 1930. We'll talk about that later. Children, other important developments that occurred in mid-1920s were the formation of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, a Hindu organization, and the Communist Party of India. These two organizations or parties had very different ideas and views about the kind of country India should be. In 1927, the British government appointed a commission under Sir John Simon. The main purpose of the Simon Commission was to take a decision on India's political future. But not a single Indian member was included in the Simon Commission. Indians all over the country criticized the fact that a body created to decide India's future did not have any Indian representative. All political parties decided to boycott the commission. When the Simon Commission arrived in India from England in February 1928, it was greeted with demonstrations, black flags, and banners with the slogan "Simon, go back." This was also the time when Bhagat Singh, a revolutionary nationalist, was very active. Children, revolutionary nationalists such as Bhagat Singh and his comrades wanted to fight British rule and the rich exploiting classes by a revolution of workers and peasants. They founded the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association HSRA in 1928 at Firozshah Kotla at Delhi. Bhagat Singh and other members of HSRA killed Saunders, the British police officer who had ordered the lathi charge on a demonstration against the Simon Commission that caused the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. Bhagat Singh and his fellow nationalist B.K. Dutt threw a bomb in the Central Legislative Assembly on 8th April 1929. The aim behind it was not to kill anyone, but to make the deaf hear. Deaf means to realize British government about their inhuman exploitation. Bhagat Singh was tried and hanged on 23rd March 1931 at the young age of 23 years. Meanwhile, in its annual session at Lahore, with Jawaharlal Nehru as president, Congress adopted a resolution that declared Purna Swaraj or complete independence to be its objective. As a result, Independence Day was observed on 26 January 1930 all over the country. But just by declaring Purna Swaraj or observing Independence Day, the dream of complete independence could not be achieved. So, in 1930, Gandhiji launched the civil disobedience movement with the historic Dandi March to break the salt law. Actually, children, according to the salt law, the British had the only right to manufacture and sell salt in India. Mahatma Gandhi and many others thought that it was completely sinful to tax an essential commodity of our food like salt. Thus, the Salt March shared the general desire of freedom and did not divide the rich and the poor. Mahatma Gandhi and his followers walked almost 400 kilometers from the Sabarmati ashram to Dandi, a coastal town. There on 6th April 1930, he picked up a handful of natural salt found on the shore and boiled the sea water to produce salt. This symbolic act broke the salt law and set the trend for the civil disobedience movement. People participated in large numbers. Though the Satyagrahis remained non-violent, they were severely beaten up by the police. Thousands were sent to jail. In 1935, the British government passed the Government of India Act 1935. This act prescribed provincial autonomy and government announced elections to the provincial assemblies or provincial legislatures in 1937. Congress ministries were formed in 7 out of the 11 provinces. On 3rd September 1939, just after 2 years of Congress rule in the provinces, the Second World War broke out between England, France and Russia on one side and Germany, Italy on the other. British declared that being a British colony, India would participate in the war. The Congress leaders were ready only in the condition that India be granted independence after the war. As the British government gave no satisfactory reply to the Congress demand, the Congress ministries that had been formed in the provinces resigned in protest in November 1939. On 8th August 1942, the All India Congress Committee in Bombay passed the Quit India resolution under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. A wide-scale mass struggle on non-violent lines was proposed. Gandhiji said to the people, "Do or die in your effort to fight the British, but you must fight non-violently." However, the government put into action its machinery of repression, and on 9th August, Gandhiji and all members of the Congress Working Committee were arrested. Peasants and youth joined the movement in large numbers. There were demonstrations and strikes all over the country. The government resorted to firings, lathi charges and arrests. By the end of 1943, more than 90,000 people were arrested. Around 1,000 were killed in police firings. Though the movement could not force the British to leave India, it showed them the depth of the nationalist feeling in the country and the capacity for struggle and sacrifice among the Indians. At the same time, in 1940, the Muslim League passed a resolution demanding the creation of independent states for Muslims in the northwestern and eastern areas of the country. What was the reason for the League to make such demand? Let's try to understand. Actually, from the late 1930s, the League started considering the Muslims as a separate nation from the Hindus. This could be due to the tension between some Hindu and Muslim groups during 1920s and 1930s. And when in 1937 elections Congress won in most of the provinces, this convinced the Muslim League that Muslims were a minority. The League feared that the interests of the Muslim minority could not be protected by any democratic structure with Hindu majority or by the Congress. During 1930s and 1940s, the League sought to widen its support. After the Second World War was over in 1945, the British opened talks between the Congress, the League and themselves about India's independence, but the talks failed due to the lack of agreement between the Congress and the League. In 1946, elections to the provincial assemblies were held again. Although the Congress performed well in general constituencies, yet the performance of the Muslim League in constituencies reserved for Muslims was outstanding. This success made the League convinced to be firm on its demand for Pakistan. Then in March 1946, a cabinet mission consisting of 3 members was sent to Delhi to negotiate the terms of the transfer of power with the Indian leaders. The mission proposed that India be united and constitute itself as a federation with some autonomy for Muslim majority areas. The Congress and the Muslim League did not agree to specific details of the cabinet mission proposal. The League declared that Muslims should resort to direct action to achieve their goal of Pakistan and announced to observe 16 August 1946 as Direct Action Day. On this day, riots broke out in Calcutta in which thousands of Hindus and Muslims were killed. Riots also occurred in several other parts of the country. In June 1947, Lord Mountbatten presented a plan for the partition of British India into 2 independent states, India and Pakistan. During the partition, lakhs of people were killed, many more displaced, houses broke and lives destroyed. Thus, amidst the happiness of being independent from British rule, the country also experienced pain and violence of partition. That's all for this chapter. Now move to some questions to check your learning so far. So the first question is, why did Mahatma Gandhi decide to call off the national non-cooperation movement? Second question, why was the Simon Commission sent to India? Why did Indians boycott it? Third question, write a short note on Dandi March. Fourth question, give a brief account of Quit India movement. If you found this video helpful and wish to watch more of such content, do consider subscribing to the channel, and if you have queries or comments, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you.